Hi friends, it is Sunday the 25th of October. I know what day it is and what date it is. And yesterday I decided that despite saying that I wasn't going to do another shop update this year, I am actually going to do one next Sunday, the 31st. I know when Halloween is. Yes, I'm going to be doing a mini shop update next Sunday because I've got a whole range of new things that, like the mugs, which you might have seen in last week's vlog, some print packs, some face masks, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, which is really exciting. I have a whole load of things that I've just kind of been feeding into my shop, but as you may or may not have heard me talk about previously, I want to kind of move my shop from being constantly updated to doing shop updates because I think it's better from a marketing perspective. I think it's better for me because having like a set goal to do a lot of things, I prefer having big goals than hundreds of tiny little goals. And also I've been doing loads of drawing, which is good as I'm an illustrator. I've been doing loads of drawing this month, so with Peachtober and all sorts. So I have loads of new things that I want to turn into prints and stickers. So, long story short, I am gonna show you how I make my stickers using my Cricut, including sticker packs and sticker sheets, and also how I print my art prints at home and how I turn like physical paintings into digital files I can print. Because I have been getting loads of questions from you guys about how I actually turn my work into things that I sell on Etsy. So yeah, to start with, I'm going to digitize some work and then I'm going to make some stickers and prints. So I'm going to open up Photoshop, which is how I digitize all of my files, and I've just dragged in this photo of this painting of a cabin that I've done. I think the video has gone a little bit janky in places, so I apologise if you're seeing some technicolor lights. But the first thing I'm going to do is rasterize the layer because Photoshop automatically brings it in as a smart object. I should note that you should make sure that it's as big as you need it to be before you rasterize it, because this basically means that it's freezing the pixels at the size and shape that they are, whereas if it's a smart object you can resize it and everything and not damage the original image. Then I've just gone Command L to bring up the levels, and you can see here I've clicked the white eyedropper, and then I'm just going to select the parts of the image that I want to be the whitest white. This ended up being a little bit too enthusiastic, so you can see I dragged the white slider down a little bit to bring back some of the colour. Then I have added a hue saturation adjustment layer, and I increase the saturation. This is for two reasons. The first is that when I photograph things, I think the camera takes a lot of the vibrance out of it, and then also when it gets to the printing stage you can also lose some then, so I always tend to overcompensate because my work being bright and colourful is really important. Next up, I have just done a small curves adjustment layer, which again is under the adjustment layers section, just to darken the depths and lighten the highlights. Next up, I'm going to work on getting rid of this white paper edge, which isn't actually white, because it turned out that making that completely white really washed out the rest of the image. So I've just hit W, which brings up the quick selection tool, and I'm going to go around the edge and choose the white paper. And you can see I'm just neatening up the edges and making sure that I don't have any of the actual image selected.
Once I'm happy with the selection, I am just going to invert the selection first so that I only have the image selected, and then I'm going to create a layer mask. I prefer working with masks if it's a complicated or large scale image, because it basically means you can go back in and refine the edges and the full image is actually still there, it's just hidden. Whereas if you go straight in with the eraser to start with, you obviously can't get any of the information back. Next up, I'm just going to save this to my cloud documents, because you may or may not know Photoshop is available on the iPad, and I am going to go in on my iPad to refine all of these edges, because doing it with the Apple Pencil is infinitely easier and quicker than using the trackpad on my MacBook. So I'm just going to open Photoshop up on my iPad, and then if I go to the cloud documents bit on the side and scroll all the way down to my most recent documents, and you'll see that the document is already there, which is so easy, and one of the reasons I love doing it like this. From here, I'm just going to swipe into the mask of this layer so that I'm editing the mask and not the actual image, and then I'm just going to use the brush to smooth out the edges and make it look a lot neater so that I can print it. Finally, I'm going to use the Distort tool under Transform just to square off the image a bit more and make it look as the original painting did. Still in Photoshop on my iPad, but in a different document. These are all the new stickers that I'm adding to my shop, and I'm just going to go through a similar process and neaten off the edges of this pink-haired girl. You can also see I've taken her from a sketchbook page which had other things laid over her, which is why she has a chunk missing out of her head, and you can also see a darker pink leaf that's laying over her hair, so I am going to get rid of that as well. To fix up this hole in her head, I'm just going to use the clone stamp tool to basically copy the texture from the surrounding parts of the image. So now I'm back in Photoshop on the desktop, and I like all of my stickers to have a white border, so I've just right-clicked on the layer to select the pixels, and then in the top menu bar I'm going to select, modify, expand, and I'm using 20 pixels, but you'll need to change it depending on your canvas size. And this basically will enable me to create a white border around the image without having to draw it, because I've just expanded the actual shape of the original sticker. Once I've expanded it, I'm also going to go back to select, modify, smooth, because obviously this is an original drawing and some of the edges will be a bit rougher, whereas I want it to have a nice smooth white background. Then I'm just going to add a solid colour fill, and it will automatically fill the selection that you've got. Just change the colour to white and we're pretty much done. Okay, so I have designed all of the stock, and obviously the next step is to print it. I have a Canon Pixma IP8750. I'm going to put the links to my printer and all the papers I'm going to talk about in the description, so don't worry about scribbling it all down now. This is not an art printer per se, it's just like a general office printer. I think it's an inkjet, but I used to have a printer that did giclée prints, which I've talked about in a previous video, but everything went wrong with it, and I decided to go for a much cheaper printer this time around, and honestly, I cannot find a difference in the print quality. I've been so impressed by this workhorse, and there is no other word for it really. So if you're looking for a relatively cheap, it's not like budget, but I'm able to get incredible print results from this printer, and this is what I use to print all of my packaging, my prints and my stickers that I make myself. So first thing I'm going to say is, for like sticker packs, the header card of sticker packs and other packaging like the occasional backing for an enamel pin or something like that, I just have general card stock. This is just really cheap. It doesn't print like anything special, but it does the job for packaging. Now for my prints, I have recently switched over to this Epson archival matte paper. Again, this is brand new because this is the Epson paper. I mean, it's just going to look like paper on camera, so there's some paper, but I recently switched over from this Black Diamond Canvas inkjet paper. This paper actually has a really nice texture. It's got canvas texture, which I really liked, and I've used this since I started printing my own prints in my art shop, however many years ago that was. I really like this paper. It is really budget friendly, like it's cheap, and the only reason I'm switching over is because I'm printing more and more paintings now, like paintings that I've turned into prints, and for some reason they just sit a lot better on a flatter surface. So and also this printer prefers a thinner paper stock, whereas the canvas textured paper is quite thick. So that's why I have switched over to this Epson archival matte paper. Again, this is nice paper, and I do think that the type of paper that you use makes a difference, but this is very budget friendly and I used this for years. It's really nice paper, so don't feel like you have to go for the most expensive thing to start with. And then finally, for all of my stickers, I use this Evergreen Goods matte white vinyl sticker paper. In terms of printing vinyl, this isn't the most hard wearing. Like, it is possible to scratch some of my stickers, but I don't advertise them as being like weatherproof or waterproof. And yeah, this is basically just thin-ish sheets of printable matte white vinyl. I personally prefer matte stickers to glossy stickers unless they're like holographic or something. I just personally prefer matte textured things in general, I think. Yeah, but I get on really well with the sticker paper. Again, it's not massively expensive, but my printer gets on really well with it. And I should preface all of this by saying that I have tried out so many different types of paper and sticker paper, especially when I got this printer a few months back. I went back and redid all of my tests, because so much of it is down to the settings that you use, the type of work that you're printing, the paper that you're using, the printer, the type of inks. Like, there's so many variables. So yeah, if you can afford it, I would highly recommend. You can buy most of the reputable paper brands have sample packs on Amazon that you can just buy and give them a try. So yeah, that's the paper I use, and now I'm going to do some printing. So I make all of my stickers in the Cricut Design Space, which is just the software that comes with the Cricut machine. So when I'm uploading a file, you can see here you have 3 options. I always choose complex, no matter what the image is, because it just works better. And you want to save it as a print then cut image, not just a cut image, because this means that you can obviously print it and then cut it from within this software. So it removes a step, which I definitely think improves the likelihood of getting a good result. I have tried in the past of like making a PDF and then printing it through Photoshop and then importing it, but honestly I think that the machine needs quite fine calibration, and it's just a lot easier if you do it all from one place to start with. Okay, so now that I've got all of the images of the new stickers that I want to make, I am going to select them all and import them into a new project in the Cricut Design Space. From here, I'm just going to lay them out so that they fill up. It's not quite an A4 sheet. The Cricut has a limit on the area of the paper that it can actually cut out, but again, this will be different for your machine, so just Google it. For me, I think it's 6.75 by 9.25 inches is the maximum area that it can cut out. And it also can't cut out within the first 0.25 inches, so that's why I'm lining this one up in the corner. Laying them all out and trying to get as many on a sheet as possible can be really fiddly, and obviously at this point I'm also resizing stickers to the size that I actually want them printed at. So yeah, it's definitely like a bit of a random jigsaw puzzle trying to get them all to fit and use as much of the paper as possible, but I kind of enjoy it in a weird way. I tend to just put a dark rectangle behind the images, and I make this rectangle the area that I know is like the maximum that my machine can cut out. I just find this so much easier to see when you're working with images with a white border on the white design space. There's probably an easier way of doing this, but this just works really well for me. Finally, I'm going to turn off the dark rectangle and print the design so that I can cut it out. And you'll notice that I turn off the bleed and turn on the option of printing using the system dialog. This basically means that my printer will handle the printing and not the Cricut Design Space. Again, I just get much better results this way. You can do things like choose the paper that you're using and the final layout and everything like that. So yeah, I definitely find that I get better results using this. So these are my Cricut mats. I have 3 mats, 2 standard grip, which is the green ones, and then 1 light grip. The light grip, at the moment, because I've used it so much, it's lost a lot of its stickiness, so I prefer using this for paper stickers, or I can washi tape around the piece of paper before I cut and then it's okay. But honestly, these standard grip ones now probably have the same strength as the light grip did when I first got it. So yeah, these are definitely the ones that I'm using at the moment. So again, I have like rubbed all over to make sure it's really stuck down, because I know that my mats aren't as sticky. But if you have a new mat, I would really encourage getting like a fluffy jumper or a towel and sticking it repeatedly on top of your mats until they're slightly less sticky, because yeah, you will tend to get, when you try and take it off, they'll be properly stuck, and I ruined so many sheets of paper doing that. Yeah, so this one's ready to go in. So just a quick note on Cricut Settings. When I'm cutting out stickers like this and I want the entire thing to be cut out separate from the sheet, I always turn it around to Cardstock Plus, which you can see is selected on the screen. So it's actually the third and the last rung of cardstock before you're onto bonded fabric. This is so it goes all the way through and I get a nice clean cut. If I'm making sticker sheets and I want it to cut through the vinyl but then not the actual backing paper, then I set it to the middle vinyl one on here, and sometimes even to the paper. So yeah, but you really will need to, once you've calibrated your machine, you'll need to try out, it depends so much on the different papers you have again, so just try out different settings. And you can see here on the Cricut design space, you can also choose the material on here, and it also has a fast mode. I generally don't put the fast mode on because I like to put my stickers quite close together on the sheet. And I've found that when it's cutting out, for example, in between these ones, if it's on fast mode, it is more likely to ruin them. So yeah, I'm gonna press the flashing light and wish them well. So now I'm going to make a sticker sheet that I'm adding in my shop update. I have these cute little swamp toads, and I've already gone through the process that I showed you before of cleaning up the images, making them brighter, and then laying them out on a sheet. And then I have just turned off the background and exported them as a PNG, which basically means it's a transparent image that only has the toads and their outline. So then I just imported this into, actually I said this was Photoshop, this isn't Photoshop on my iPad, this is Adobe Fresco on my iPad, which also works with the cloud storage. And the reason I'm doing this is because I have the main images of the sticker sheet, but I'm going to do things like draw the title of the sticker sheet, and then I'm also going to go in and add little sparkles and squiggles in the gaps in between the stickers, because I think this looks cute and I think these little toad guys deserve to be on a cute sheet. The process of making sticker sheets is very much similar to making loose stickers. Again, I'm just going to put this dark rectangle so I can see the area that I'm working to, and I like to print 2 sticker sheets per sheet that I actually print, so I'm going to lay these out and then print them. The final step when making the sticker sheets is to trim them to size. I have this little paper cutter. This was incredibly cheap from Amazon. Honestly, I was really skeptical about it. I think it was about £7. I have tried much more expensive paper cutters that the blade arrived dull or didn't cut square, which is so irritating. But yeah, I really cannot recommend this little paper cutter enough. It's brilliant. So the minor flaw in the Cricut is that it doesn't make 2 cut depths. So when you're making sticker sheets, obviously you don't want the actual stickers to cut all the way through, but that also means that it doesn't cut all the way through of the outside. I know there are ways around this, like you can add lots of rectangles the same size and it will effectively cut over and over again around the outside, but honestly, I find it less of a hassle to just get my paper cutter out and trim them by hand. With the art prints, the only thing that's left is to sign each one by hand in pencil, and then put them into storage ready to ship out to their new homes. So I have obviously printed and cut out all of these stickers, and now I just need to make them up into their little sticker packs. I am using sheets of tracing paper. I don't use any plastic packaging in my shop, and I think that they look really pretty when they're all wrapped up. I love the fact that you can kind of see through them. So yeah, I just use a sheet of tracing paper that I've cut down to size, and then some paper stickers or washi tape on the back to seal them shut. Yeah, I've done a whole video about eco-friendly Etsy packaging, so if you'd like to know more about this, I'm going to put the link in the cards if I remember to do that. Hopefully I will. So I have 3 new sticker packs coming in my shop update. I have these little bugs, 3 printed landscapes, and a rainbow spread from my sketchbook.
I also have these larger sticker packs available in my shop, and to make these it's a very similar process. I just use a glassine bag like I do with these guys, and then I just print a little header card on some cardstock on my printer. It's just got my website on the back, and then I fold it over and staple it, and that's how I do plastic-free sticker packs.
Finally, before closing up this vlog, I wanted to share with you my new face masks. This is something I've been working towards for a really long time. I have found a wonderful seamstress who is making each face mask by hand less than 5 miles from my studio, and they're made from 100% cotton, printed here in the UK. They have elastic ear loops, they're double layered, both pleated. They have an optional filter pocket if you would like to add like a coffee filter or something in, and yeah, I've got them made with 3 designs of mine that I really hope you will love. I am a little bit obsessed with them. I have pink cheetah print, mustard mushrooms, which actually matches my mushroom scarves, and then of course the happy little froggo. Yeah, these are going to be going live in my shop update The first batch is really limited. I think I have around 12 of each design, so yeah, I really hope that you like them as much as I do. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you found it helpful or at least interesting. My shop update is going to be on Sunday the 31st of October if you want to check it out. If you have any questions about anything that I've talked about or digitising your work, I'm a complete nerd about all of this stuff, so more than happy to chat or answer any questions that you have. Thank you for being here, and of course thank you to my wonderful patrons, and I will see you next week.